Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy, love and light. When you get confronted with choices, right? When decisions need to be made, and there's always a moment of reflection, at least I hope there is, unless the answer is 100% vibrating clearly yes within your entire energy field. But anywho, when choices come your way and you take that moment to reflect, to decide if it's a doable situation, if it's an easy breezy thing, if it may present a challenge, if it has lessons or if there's attached value, whatever you decide to culminate or think about regarding the choice that comes upon you, right? Do you second guess yourself after you've made that choice? Do you maybe, if it doesn't work out the way you had originally intended, do you kind of beat yourself up about that choice? Or do you not make choices and wait until you're absolutely forced because you don't know what the outcome is going to be and you're not quite sure how you could fit in to the scenario that you are creating by choosing a choice? Those are good questions, and sometimes people, of all different types, right? All different sorts, they don't really like to look at their ouch points or perceived sores, if you will. They like to throw a band-aid on it and call it, not there, or, we'll look at another day, or it's not as bad, as it looks, right? Or it may feel, or, whatever the case may be that you're trying to cover up and hide, right? But in reality, we're given the opportunity for reflection before we make choices, before we jump in with both feet, to be at least a little bit prepared, at least a little bit aware of what the possibilities could be. Because you also need to understand that whatever choice that you're, contemplating making, or, have made and regret, or it didn't turn out the way you thought, or you might want to tweak it now, but you can't because it was in the past, right? What you're doing is culminating tools in order to utilize and correct or redirect or take another path toward the outcome that you're seeking by honoring the choice and understanding that we can't control every aspect and that we do need to let a lot, actually, of universal flow, come into the picture and let things happen as they're meant to happen and roll with whatever the outcome is. Learn from, grow from, pick yourself up and try again, right? Take a different perspective, take a higher route, take another look and see if you can't, figure out what you may perceive gone wrong, and then talk to your spirit team and, utilize your intuition and, your personal discernment, because we all battle with ourselves, right? I don't know about you, but I used to tell everybody I talk to myself all the time because it's the best conversation I ever had. But that doesn't say that I didn't always yell at myself for, being upset with the outcome of certain choices that I may have made. Did you ever hear that phrase, lie in the bed that you made, or something to that effect? We lie in the beds that we make. Okay. So with that said, that means honor what it is that you've chosen, whatever decisions that you've moved with or through or toward, and hold every piece of living as a learning lesson. And when we do that, we could be better equipped to allow the nuggets of knowledge, the whispered words of wise wisdom, pop out at us to help us use our intuition, our discernment, our inner knowing to be able to see that turning left on, such and such street, right, didn't really lead us into a great neighborhood. So maybe we'll try to go right and see if it's a better neighborhood on the other side of town. But then again, you can always go straight through, and see what that leads you. So whenever I choose a choice, a direction, a path, a mindset, a position, a purpose, a placement, whatever you want to consider where you are to be and what that decision or choice is leading you to, or, beyond, right? I always go straight through it. So I don't make lefts or rights. I don't typically go backwards. I don't literally backstep in movement, just in perception, to see what it is that I missed. Because I'm continually going forward. I'm not hanging out and thinking that maybe I should have made a metaphoric right instead of a theoretical left, right? I'm looking at what is in front of me, not what could be, on the sides of me. I'm looking to see what I can achieve by going forward. I'm not looking, unless that road is winding, right? I'm not looking to divert from the path that I'm on, because my intuition tells me that it took me my whole journey to get here. And I did enough side steps. I did enough country road visitation, right? Where you take that ride and it just takes you wherever you go. And, sometimes it leads you into the forest or into the unknown, but you feel comfortable and you feel safe because you're on an adventure. Well, this is the same concept. Life is an adventure. Whether you're in a metaphoric car going for a ride to see where you end up, learning different pieces of land or territory, if you will. But traveling within us and understanding and accepting and perfecting who we are and why we do what we do. And then if we don't align, making small changes until bigger changes start illuminating, where we realize that our path was always meant to go forward. That when the road bends, that's our opportunity to see what the terrain has to offer, right? But we're not going to go and just well, sometimes we do veer off. that is, to find new places. But you always end up having to go backwards to where you started. So what I can tell you is that the easiest route would be to go straight ahead, to forge through whatever may come your way and accept everything. Find the value. Understand that there's always lessons. And then forgive yourself if you need to. Forgive the situation, you know. It only helps you and frees you of burdens and allows you to keep the value nested within a usable life tool. So when you're navigating your road, don't be upset with yourself if the decisions or the choices that you make lead you to places that you might feel lost. Because we're never lost.